The story of Gnosis, as humans actually lived it. At first, there was no Gnosis at all. There were only bodies. Early humans did not ask why. They asked, where is water? What can eat me? How do I survive tonight? Knowledge was muscle memory. How to strike stone, how to follow tracks, how to read clouds. Awareness was outward. Nothing turned inward yet. This is pre-Gnosis, knowing how, not why. Then something changed. Not suddenly, slowly, painfully, humans began to remember across generations. Fire techniques improved. Tools standardized. Children learned things their parents never had to rediscover from scratch. Memory outlived the individual. This is the first layer of Gnosis. The world can be understood because it repeats. The seasons repeat. Animals migrate. Rivers flood. When the river floods, the land becomes fertile. When it floods too much, everything dies. Understanding begins as pattern recognition, not belief. Then language deepened. Words stopped being only commands and warnings. They became symbols. Stories appeared. A flood was no longer just water. It was what happens when order collapses. Fire was no longer just heat. It was power stolen from nature. Death was no longer just absence. It was a question. This is mythic Gnosis. Not truth as fact, but truth as structure. Atrahasis is born here. Gilgamesh walks here. These stories do not claim secret knowledge. They say, this is how the world breaks, and this is how humans endure. Gnosis here is not enlightenment. It is acceptance of limits. Then agriculture traps humanity. Canals are dug. Cities rise. Surplus appears. Hierarchies harden. Humans no longer live inside nature. They manage it. When systems fail, the consequences are catastrophic. Floods now destroy cities, not camps. Gnosis shifts again. Now knowledge is no longer just pattern. It is authority. Gods speak like administrators. Commands sound like laws. Sacrifice sounds like taxation. The gods are angry means the system is unstable. This is institutional Gnosis. The world must be kept in order, or it will collapse. People obey not because it's true, but because it works. Then the cracks show. Floods still happen. Empires fall. Innocent people suffer. The system promises stability but delivers pain. Gnosis turns inward for the first time. This is where the prophets appear. They say, you are doing everything right, and it is still wrong. This is a dangerous kind of Gnosis, knowing that the system itself is flawed. Job asks why righteousness fails. Ecclesiastes doubts meaning. The Hebrew prophets insist that ritual without justice is empty. This is ethical Gnosis, knowledge that judges power instead of serving it. Then comes the compression. Instead of a people, a city, or a law-carrying meaning, the story collapses into one human life. Jesus does not introduce new facts. He introduces a new structure. Power inverted. Failure reinterpreted. Death not avoided but entered. This is transformational Gnosis. Meaning is not found by escaping suffering, but by transforming how it is understood. The cross is not secret knowledge. It is a public execution reframed. The Gnosis is not hidden. It is scandalously visible. Then comes the split. Some turn Gnosis into doctrine. Others turn it into mysticism. Some insist truth is external. Others insist it is internal. This is where Gnosticism, capital G, appears, not as the origin of Gnosis, but as a reaction to institutionalization. Gnostic texts say, the world is broken at its foundation. Authority lies. Knowledge frees. But they go too far inward. They risk abandoning the body, history, and responsibility. The church reacts by anchoring meaning back into time, flesh, and community. This tension never resolves. Then science arrives. It strips myth of literal authority but preserves methodical Gnosis. Test. Observe. Falsify. Repeat. Now Gnosis is no longer sacred. It is procedural. We learn. Humans are old. The earth is older. Dinosaurs lived and died without us. Extinction is normal. The universe does not care. This shatters human centrality, but not meaning. Modern Gnosis emerges quietly. It says, there is no hidden script, only systems, feedback, and consequence. Floods are climate. Gods are projections. Morality is emergent. Consciousness is embodied. Yet suffering remains real. Collapse still happens. People still ask why. The question never went away. So what is Gnosis now? It is not secret knowledge. It is not divine whisper. It is not escape. It is seeing clearly across layers. That myths encode survival. That gods reflect systems. That meaning is constructed, not given. That bodies matter. That knowledge without humility collapses. That ignorance without curiosity stagnates. The final Gnosis is not certainty. It is this. We are the layer that knows there were layers before us. And that knowledge comes with responsibility.